All right, here we go, ladies. Okay. Well, welcome to the soft launch. We are so excited you are all here. And we wanted to start by just welcoming everybody and letting everybody kind of get to know everybody. So that's why we had you fill out that form. And we're just going to share briefly a little bit about everyone so we can kind of get to know each other here, even though we don't get to see each other in person. But I am Heidi Arvey. I live in Springville, Utah. And we're just going to share today the things that we like to do in our spare time. So I like to play pickleball and tennis, and I love scrapbooking and digital scrapbooking and working on the computer. And I love working. Like, I'm realizing the older I get that I just love to work. My kids want to go play all the time. I'm like, no, but there's work we could do. So I'm working on being more fun. But I do really love just working and being productive. So that is me. Candy lives in Hurricane, and she loves to run, bike, play pickleball, and hike. And it was really interesting. We all have a lot of the same interests and the same hobbies as everybody was turning in their things. So it was fun to see that we're all very similar. Then the next is Denise, and Denise lives in Peoria, Illinois. And what Denise enjoys doing is reading and working on her Heritage Maker projects. And I'm right there with you, like digital scrapbooking, creating memories, scrapbooking. And Celeste, she loves to spend time with her children and grandchildren. She loves supporting her children in their sporting events. Okay, and let's see if I can, okay, next page. Okay, Lindy lives in Toledo, Ohio. And she loves to, in her spare time, ski, boat, running. She loves high fitness. I love high fitness too. I don't know if any of you have done high fitness. It's the best. And piano and painting. Coralie lives in Spokane Valley, Washington. That's a picture of her beautiful family. And she loves hiking, baking, gardening, and talking with friends and family. Vicki is on her way to North Carolina right now. And she loves walking, biking, reading, jet skiing, and hanging out with family and friends. And Emma, I didn't hear from her, but from her Facebook profile, she's out boating with her husband. So I'm going to assume she loves the outdoors and spending time with family. She is a school teacher and teaching right now. That's why she's not here with us. Marcy lives in Brigham City, Utah. And she loves reading, family history, digital scrapbooking, gardening, hanging out with family, and taking a nice power nap. Loved that one. That's awesome. And Melody Jones is in California. She loves digital scrapbooking, genealogy, reading, watching TV, relaxing, and traveling. And then we have Riley May, and she lives in my hometown, Rexburg, Idaho. She's a college student there. And Riley enjoys hiking, skiing, pickleball, biking, anything outdoors, and spending time with her family. So that is our advocate team that we are starting this soft launch with. And we're so excited to have each of you guys on board, like so grateful. And this is my disclaimer. I've just learned. I used to be apologetic and apologize that I cry over everything. And now I just own it. And I just say it like it is at the beginning. So I can't get through anything without crying. So just know that if there's a long pause, it's because I'm trying to hold back the tears. And
Heidi's, it's been a long road to get here. And so this is a big deal for her.
Well, just the gratitude that you guys believe enough to be like, hey, I want to go interview old people. That sounds fun, right? Like who does that? So thank you. Thank you for believing in this and being a part of it. It's so awesome. So these are our story spinners. And these are the gals. I know, it's so great. These are the girls who do the writing. So we do the interviewing and then we pass it off to them, and then they have the gift and the talent of writing. And so we let them do their magic. We have Michaela Lindman. I should have put where they're actually from, but they're all in. Michaela and Emily are in Provo right now going to school. And then Gabby May lives in Hurricane, and she is a sophomore or junior and a gifted writer and has already written a book. So we are excited to have her on the team as well for our story spinners. So that is the story spinners.
And then we do have some editors as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some of them are editors as well. So, okay. So just to recap a little bit about our history and where we've come from and where we're going. So back in 2000, I met Candy and she introduced me to this concept of storybooking. 2001, I had this dream of writing stories. That's when it all kind of this aha moment of this is really cool. And that dream was born. From 2001 till 2015, Candy and I helped people write their stories, helped people preserve their photos and their memories. In 2015, I started really pursuing this senior story concept and figuring out how can I make this happen? Like, how can this be a reality? And lots of trial and errors, lots of things that didn't work, lots of way too long processes of spending 6 months, literally 6 months with one person to gather their story, which was a fabulous 6 months. But I was panicking going, oh, there's so many people dying. Like, I got to get their stories. We have to speed this up. So kept remodeling or revamping, reworking it until 2022, when in the spring, Candy and I decided, okay, I've got it figured out. Let's create Nicholas Fern. And so in the summer and the fall, we had advocates begin to join the Nicholas Fern family. And winter 2022 and beyond, we have stars popping up all over North America and the world. So I'm so excited for where this is going to go, for the lives we're going to touch, and for the good we're going to do. And I'm just so grateful for each of you being here. And I'm really excited what we have to show you guys. And hopefully you guys will be as excited as we are of the system we've put together and how everything's going to work. So our mission is to give seniors the power to take control of their legacy and pass on hope, connection, and a sense of belonging to the next generation. We take the wisdom of the world's greatest generation and we make it accessible and interesting to inspire and strengthen the next generation.
This is Candy, and I would like to show you our products so that you're familiar with them. So first we have two categories, the legacy lockets and the legacy packages. Now prices will vary. These are the prices that show the full service, where we go in and capture the video for the video locket and the voice for the voice locket. Same thing with the legacy packages, which I'll show you in a minute. So these things include like a personal visit where we capture the recording, music added, and one photo scanned. With the video locket, we do a personal visit as the life story advocate. We get the recording of the advice, and then it's professionally edited by a videographer, and up to 5 photos are scanned, and those photos are put in the video. Okay, so you can see how great the legacy lockets are, and there's so much we can talk about and do with those. But let's move on and talk a little bit about the legacy packages. I'm going to show you these all. This is just the flyer that goes over everything, but we're going to see them in a minute. So there's the silver and gold package, and this is completely like we do it all. We do the interview, the personal interview. The story is professionally written, professionally edited. The photos are scanned. With the silver, it's 50, up to 50, and with the gold package, it's up to 80. Everything's pretty much the same between the two packages, except for the number of photos scanned and also the number of videos done. So if you can see there on the gold package, it just says they get a picture slideshow of up to those 80 photos. They get 2 additional video stories and up to, well, as I said, up to 30 additional photos scanned. But both packages come with 2 gorgeous hardbound books, which I'm going to show you here in a second, and 2 lockets. So we like to give 2 so that the individual, the star, gets to keep 1, and then of course they have 1 to give away, and then additional lockets and additional books can be ordered at any time at a reasonable cost. Okay, let me just show you the storybook. So here is one copy. We use top quality for these storybooks. We partner with a wonderful company. The paper is wonderful. The binding is phenomenal. It's a lay flat book. The print is nice and big. The photos are enhanced. it goes through a person's life story. It's just gorgeous all the way through. Just look at that quality. And then at the very end of the book, as you can see here, as I flip through, you can see the QR codes. So one is for, there's 2 stories that they get to choose, and then there's the slideshow. Okay, let's move on to the locket now. So I'm just going to open up this locket, and on one side is the QR code, and one side is the photo. Let me show you how it works. So now I'm doing a video of me making it work. So what you do is you point your camera at the locket, and then you just push that little chrome button, yep, the yellow button, and up comes Forever, where it's stored, and you hit play, and this is what you'll hear.
The advice I have for my posterity is to always stay close to our Father in heaven, and especially to always stay close as a family. Love each other, treat each other with kindness, understanding, and patience. Too often it's the ones we love the most that we are the most unkind and impatient with.
So what's my next step? So we're going to go over training. And then after that, what's the next step after that? And that is to become certified in the certification. So we're going to jump to what the certification looks like. So the training will kind of make sense. So you may have noticed when we went through each of you guys, your pictures and talked about what you were, there was a title before advocate. And some of you were freshmen and some of you were sophomore and some were seniors and juniors. So since we're working with the seniors, we thought it would be a good way to keep track of like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and have that senior mean kind of double senior, right? So anyways, a freshman is, if you have not, once you've completed the stuff here, then you move on to the next rank. So if you have not turned in your advocate agreement yet, then you're still at the rank of a freshman. And generally what will happen, you guys are all in the pilot, so you don't have to pay this, but we will have a $3.99 advocate starter kit. And this is what will come in the kit. Again, you guys don't have to pay this. You guys are doing this as our soft launch, just pilot and getting it off the ground. So you guys get this for free. But normally people buy a starter kit and they'll get the magazines, they'll get a sample book, a sample locket, and a sample keychain, as well as the microphone and the keychain, and the tripod that we need to actually film the videos, and then packaging stuff. So when you guys are presenting the product to your star, it all has the same brand and the same feel as the product. So this is what comes in the kit. And the great thing about that is once they've completed the certification, they've made that $400 back, and then it's just profit from there. So to become a sophomore, you're going to complete one free practice interview. And the person you're doing the book for isn't going to get a book, but they will get an advice keychain, right? They'll get one of these as a thank you of, hey, thank you for letting me practice on you. And the reason why we're doing this free one is because we've had several people on board and committed like, oh, we love this, we want to do this. And then life happened and nothing happened and books didn't get done. And we noticed the people who did do the books were people who had done it for free for somebody. They're like, hey, let me just practice on you. Let me just get the ball rolling. And so that we decided to include that because it's just practice, right? If you screw up, it's okay because they're not paying you any money. So if you don't know what you're doing, it's okay. They know, hey, you're here to practice. And so that'll be the sophomore level. Once you've done your free one, you'll move to a half price item, and they can choose either the gold or the silver package and get that at 50% off. They will just get one book instead of 2, and they will get the legacy locket. So once you've done a half price item,
which you would do for free. This is all in training right now at this point until you get to the money one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the sophomore, you're doing the free one. No, you don't receive payment. You do the half price one, you don't receive payment. You're still just figuring out. Then once you do the senior one and they've actually paid the full price, then once that's completed, then you officially become certified and you get your payment and you're ready to roll. Now, something that's exciting that I've been finding is I'm getting referrals from the people that I'm interviewing, right? Because I kept thinking, how am I going to get my next person and where should I market to? And the lady I did last week, I went in before we even started, she said, oh, I talked to my brother yesterday. He's 80 and I told him that you do this. I had no idea that people come to your, like, she was so excited. She's like, my brother, he needs his story done. And he didn't know that people can come to his house. She's like, you always come to their house. This is so great. So she's like, my brother wants to do it. My sister-in-law wants to do it. And she has another brother that wants to do it. Right. So I think once people realize this is available, those people who are really, I mean, there's two categories of people. There's the people who are so like, I haven't done anything. Nobody wants to read my story. And that was Karma's experience, right? My first experience of her saying nobody would care about me. And that transformation that took place in her when I did tell her story versus the people I'm doing now who they have the confidence and they know, wait, my story is important and I need somebody to help me write it down because I want to make sure it's passed on. So there's both groups of people. There are the people who are like, no, nobody wants to remember me. And the other people that no, like I did have a good life and I do want people. So it encompasses all types of people. And the result is the same either way. Everybody ends up going, wow, that was awesome. I have something that I can pass on. So, Candy, anything I forgot to cover on that? Any questions on kind of the steps of just working through and getting the process down?
It's really fun to go to someone and ask if you can help, just do a practice. I just joined this company called Nicholas Verne, and my boss, this is what I said, my boss wants me to do a practice interview. Would you be willing? And this little woman named Irene said, well, what does it mean? What's going on? I'm like, you know what? I don't really know too much yet. All I know is I want to do this. Would you be willing to let me practice? I'll just ask you these 24 questions. And she's like, well, sure. When can you do it? And I went and met her and asked her the questions, and I became more comfortable that way. So that's why we put that sophomore. And then as our thank you to them, because you'll practice videoing them for their life advice, they get the keychain for free. So that gets the ball rolling.
And keep in mind too, as you're finding the free person, think about who's maybe your oldest living relative, or do you have a neighbor that lives near you that's just lonely and sitting home all day, right? Like, could that be that person? And maybe there's somebody who just honestly really can't afford to pay half price or full price. Those are the people you approach and be really mindful of, like, who could really use this, but maybe money's really tight. And this is a huge blessing for them. I know that was the case with Denise's. Like, Ed was so excited to have his story done. He'd been wanting to do a story, but didn't know how. And she showed up like, hey, can I practice on you? So it can be a really great blessing in somebody's lives. So just be mindful of who you know who could really benefit from the free service and the half price service. Okay. Moving forward. Okay. So the training part, there is a online on the website. Now there's a login button. And once you guys have moved on to the sophomore level, you've submitted your agreement, you guys will get an email with a link to go in and create your own password. Okay. So once you've logged in, it's just right here on the website. This is what you're going to see. And I'll log in live in just a second and show you more of what this looks like. And this is still being added to and building it and adding to it every day. But the basics are here so you can get started and feel confident that you know what you're doing. But each little bucket has the information you need. So getting started kind of has an overview of everything. The orientation, that's your first step. Then you're going to do the interview. And then here's everything you need to know about scanning the photos. And here's what you need to know about filming. Here's Zoom. So there is some technicalities, like you got to know how to set up a Zoom meeting. You need to know how to use Google Drive and Google Docs. All of those trainings are in there. And then the delivery day is just how you're going to package the package once you get it and deliver it. Okay. So let me just take a second and log in to show you guys what that looks like. Okay, are you guys still seeing my screen? Yes. Okay. So you're going to log in.
Yes.
And use the email address that you put on your agreement, so that's the one that it'll be tied to. So you'll see Advocate Training Portal. You'll just click there. And then this is what you'll see. This is Irene, who Candy was just talking about, her cute little 94-year-old friend. And then here's all the buckets, right? So you'll click and there's different videos to watch. This is just the intro video. If you guys haven't seen this yet, this shows the book. And this was a delivery day that I did for Clarine and her cute little great granddaughter. Here's a document to read through. that just scrolls through. You can click on this little button right here and it'll pop it out big if you want to see it bigger. Here's just a short fun video that Candy had made of when we first got the book back, and we did a fun little, it's not professional. It's just me holding the camera going, Candy, look, I got the book. So this kind of just is a fun, very first look at the book. And then this is the overview of the process. So again, the orientation is the first step, and then you go into the interview, and then you do the photos and filming, and you do the final edits. You're going to get the story back from the spinner, and you're going to go sit with them and be like, okay, what changes do we need to make? And all of that's in the training. But this is just a fun bird's eye view. I'm a very visual person. So this helps me, like these are the processes, right? So if you feel comfortable like going and getting to know somebody, talking to somebody and asking them questions and being able to scan and digitize some photos and make some text edits, then that's really all you need to do. There's technicalities behind all that, and we can teach you those so you feel comfortable doing those more computer techno skill stuff. But the premise of the advocate's job is to be their friend, right? Go build them up. Let them know that they're amazing. Let them know that their life mattered, that they're important, that what they have to share really is going to make a difference in the next generation, and they have the power to do that, and you're there to help them. So that's kind of the job that we get to do as the advocates. And these are kind of just the first steps of doing that. And then you just click the back button to get back to the things. Delivery day still doesn't have anything in it yet. That one's coming, but all the other ones have the majority of what they need. So that is ready to go. Okay, any questions on that? Candy, I think you're muted. Are you trying to talk?
I think they might want to know how long it would take to go through that whole process that you showed with the circle.
Oh, okay. Great question. And I think that is, okay, so here's the process. So the orientation is the first visit, okay? And that usually takes, we want to try to keep it to about 45 minutes to an hour. And we have the whole outline of like what you do, and we take, and the point of the orientation is to, one, show up and get to know them and kind of explain to them, okay, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get this book, and you're going to get this locket, and see how each paragraph's not super long. Like it's just kind of a summary. We're just going to, so they are like, oh, okay. We're putting their mind at ease and we're going to say, we're going to film you, but that's going to be like on, a different visit, and we'll tell you what you need to do for that. And so they have a visual, they know what's going to happen going into it. They're not like, oh, somebody's coming and I have no idea what's happening. And, we don't want to stress them out. So the orientation is very like answering all their questions, showing them exactly what we're going to do, and getting to know them and building some trust, because we're going to be asking them some hard questions like, sure, your hardest trial you've ever been through. You just barely met me, but go ahead, just bare your soul to me, right? And so the orientation is more of like, we're there showing up like, hey, we care, and so then you schedule from the orientation. So that could be 45 minutes to an hour. The one I just did was closer to 2 hours because she was super talkative, right? So you can kind of vary. If you have a hard stop, you can let them know like, hey, I've got to, go pick up kids, or I've got to leave at this time. So that way, that's always a good way. So let's be honest, we could spend 3-4, a lot of hours. A lot of these people don't have a lot of company or visitors. And so you could spend a lot of time there. So be cautious of that. Like if we want to respect your time as well. So generally 45 minutes to an hour is long enough to get that done. But let them know ahead of time, like, hey, I need to be out of here by this time. So we've allotted for about an hour to get this covered, and then you can go from there. The interview is usually about 2 hours. I've done it anywhere in an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, depending on how talkative they are. And we give you tips and things as far as like how to kind of keep things moving along so that you're not stuck there all day. And at the orientation, and just reminding them again, like, this is just an overview. These are just simple, kind of summaries of things. So the orientation's first visit, when you're there, you're going to say, okay, when is a good time for me to come back and do the interview? You pull out your calendar, they pull out their calendar, and you're like, okay, you pick a date and a time. And then that's when you're going to go, you come back, you do the interview, At the end of the interview, you do the same thing. Okay, when is a good time for me to come back? Because the next visit, we're going to do your photos and we're going to scan. And sometimes they'll have like she had the photos ready for me at the orientation. She had scrapbooks piled up and she's like, okay, I've got some pictures ready. So you could look through some pictures then if you wanted, but I just was like, okay, that's great. Keep these here. And we're going to do pictures another time when I come. So then you're going to do a visit just for the photos and filming. So you can do those two together. And let them know, okay, I'm good on this visit. I'm going to be filming you. So you want to make sure, that you're looking presentable and you're going to feel confident. Because when I went, she's like, oh, I should put a bra on. I'm like, oh, this one's not, I'm not filming you. It'll be okay. Right. So we don't want them to be like, oh, this is going to my posterity and I look terrible and my hair looks bad or whatever. So give them a heads up, like on this one, you're going to film. So make sure you're wearing whatever you feel good in. And then from there, hopefully when we go back to film, we have the story back from the spinners and we can take them the document. And so they can read through it and we leave the text with them and then they can change it. And then when we come back, we say, hey, when can I come back again? I'm either going to finish up photo scanning or whatever needs to be done. And let's go through your text. Like if you have some changes or you need to make some modifications, you can do that. And at that point, you'll also go through and say, okay, for this story, I have these pictures that go with it. Are these the right pictures that go for here? Are these the right people? And you just make sure you've got the right pictures with the right people, right stories. Does that make sense? And then once
there's a question. The interview is not filmed, only recorded.
The interview is Zoom recorded. Okay. So you will need to have like a laptop or an iPad or something. And why we do the interview Zoom recorded is because that's what we send to our spinners. And we had debated on that. We had been doing it Zoom and we thought, no, we're just going to switch to audio because that'll be way easier and less confusing, less hassle for us as advocates. And then the feedback we got from the spinners was, no, they loved the video because they saw the person, right? They got to see them and see their mannerisms and it made them help them write the story more as from that person instead of just some audio voice that they're hearing from a tape recorder. And so and in the training of that, here, let me just answer this really quick. Let me go back to the training. So on the interview, let me refresh. Okay, here it is. So I don't know, can you guys see this? So here's the interview. This is cute little Janice who was like, wait, I should have put a bra on for this. I'm like, it's okay. You just be comfortable in your chair and we're just going to be super casual. So she sat in her chair. I put the laptop right here over here, facing her this way. And then I sat in this chair right here. This way I could see if the computer was still going, right? I could make sure that sometimes I've done it where the computer's right next to me and I kind of have to look around the corner to make sure, okay, it didn't like time out or there's, it died or whatever. So this was kind of the setup, one chair, them in a chair, and you put the tablet or the computer on Zoom. As soon as you start the Zoom, it just starts recording and then it just picks up the whole interview. And then you guys just sit and have your little conversation. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Okay. So that's.
So while you were doing that, I was telling how long you were saying everything takes, and it's between 5 and 10 hours. So let's say you took 7 hours on a client as an advocate. I tallied that you would make $57 an hour about if it was 7 hours. So obviously if it was 10 full hours, it'd be $40 an hour. So we want to pay you, what you're worth. You have a unique skill and you're doing this training. And you're providing really important things to people. So I want to make sure you're getting paid well for it. And then we just wanted to give you kind of an idea how long it would take to get through the whole process as an advocate.
Yeah. And once you're more comfortable, you can do it faster, right? But there are some people that I was just like, I just couldn't rush her, right? I was like, okay, like my heart just feels for you right now. I just want to sit here and cry with you. Like, let's just cry about that. And then let's move on, right? Instead of like, oh, we got to get to the next question. I've got to get out of here.
It's not about you. It's about them. But yeah, that's so good.
But generally the whole process. So you're going to be probably 4 to 5 visits at their home.
Mm-hmm.
and average 1 to 2 hours per visit. Sometimes it might be 1 hour, sometimes it could be 2 hours, or maybe you're there for 3 hours one time. And then you will have some work once you're home. Like, so let me just show you roughly like the photos. You're going to scan the photos all on a photo app, and this will tell you how to do all of that. And then you'll need to take the pictures from the photo app and drag them into the Google Doc. Okay. That's how you're going to put it together. So the book builder knows these pictures go with these words on this page. So all of that is here in these little videos that show you how to do that. It doesn't take super long, maybe an hour, half hour once you're savvy with like drag, drop, label the photo, drag, drop, label the photo. Okay. And you can even do this while you're at their house with them, saying, okay, these pictures we're going to put with this page. Does that work for you? Okay, great. Next one. Okay. I think this picture would go there. Or when you're scanning, and sometimes they don't have a lot of pictures. So if they don't have a lot of pictures, you're like, oh, we only have 10 pictures and we have 20 spots to fill. What are we going to do? So at that point, you start troubleshooting, like, do you have any family members or, anybody who could have copies of pictures, and have them kind of reach out to family. If not, we just use stock photos, generic photos that kind of go along with what they're saying, or you just have them write. That story could be longer, right? They could have more words on that page if there's not pictures to go with it. So there's stories here that are all the stuff here on photos shows you how to do that. And the photos really are the fun part. So when you go back to do photos, it's kind of like they get to relive their life walking down memory lane. And a lot of this stuff they haven't looked at in 50, 60, 70 years, if you get to the 90-year-olds, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, I can't even remember this. And then they literally like have this walk down memory lane and relive their life. And it's proven, and I'm the same. Think about it. If you look at old pictures of your kids or when you were younger, or you with your family from years past, you're like, that just makes you happy. Like, it's physically proven that you are happier when you look at old pictures. So it's this fun, happy, like, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. So you just need to kind of decipher and be like, okay, that picture would be great. That picture would be great. This picture would be great. And we have a list of what pictures you're looking for.
And that's all in the training. We're actually going too much in the training maybe right now.
So anyways, if you hopefully, does that make sense? But everything's in there, what you need to do for the training. So it's all there.
It's amazing.
But it can be messy too. So see this, like pictures everywhere. It doesn't have to be clean, concise. It's just kind of.
And you're going to take them out of frames, but you explain that in the training. Yeah.
So that is kind of the process: orientation, interview, photos and filming, final edits. And then you just repeat that with each client, and it might be different too. You don't have to do this. If they're like, oh, like I can only film, I only have this much time, or I want to do pictures when I do the interview. So maybe when you do the interview, you might be there for 3 hours because they want to do the pictures and the interview together. So this is flexible. These are just the steps that need to be done.
My half price guy, I spent so much time with, it's not even funny. And I said to Heidi, I still probably made $10 an hour. Still great. And it was my choice to take that long, So it's, you're in control, but we think it could be up to 10 hours. So,
yeah. And yeah. So, and as you're learning, it might even be longer than 10 hours, right? Because you've got the trial and error and, oh, that didn't work and I got to do that again or whatever. So, okay. So keeping in touch, we want to have some type of a channel, a group, a platform that we can all be able to share and communicate on. And sometimes text messages get lost and buried, and Facebook can get distracting. And for me, I'm like, oh, let me check that message. And then an hour later, I'm like, oh dear, I just lost an hour of my time because I started scrolling through Facebook, right? So GroupMe, are you guys familiar with GroupMe? How do you feel about GroupMe?
We're getting some shakes.
Yes, everybody.
No, people are shaking their heads. No. So that's okay. I didn't know about it either. But you would download this app if you're interested. And what I thought about is I have questions for Heidi too, because I'm not fully certified, even fully. And so when I have a question for her, I thought, this would help everyone. And so that's what made me think we should do something like this. And the thing about GroupMe, it's a little app on your phone. And you'll see that there's a message there, but it's not, it's just us. So it's not pressing. Nothing we put in GroupMe is going to be pressing. If it's pressing, we'll contact you other ways. But it's more like chatter. And so if you'd be interested in that, we'll add you to the group me, and you can kind of follow along when people have questions. Then
And
we'll-
what we've been doing is Tuesday, touch base Tuesday, like an update of what's happening. So that would go on group me, right? Like, okay, we've got, you know,
Oh, it
5 new
will?
advocates.
Instead
or-
of email.
Well, you can do email too, or on the group me, we might just say, check your email, you know.
That's true. That's a good idea.
So, or if there's any way of us communicating with you guys, or like, hey, we have a, you know, somebody did this and it worked really well, or you guys could be like, wait, I'm having this problem, like I couldn't get this to work, or it's kind of that, right? Ask your questions, troubleshoot, post.
You might say something like, hey, I have someone up in northern Utah that wants the book done. Does anybody want this client? You know, stuff like that. So
Or you could share your successes on there too. Like, I just had the best interview with this person that you, whatever, right? It can just be a place for us to connect and share.
okay.
So we will add everybody to our group me that we have, and then feel free to ask questions and share things there. Okay, so things that you will need is a smartphone with a good camera quality. And so if you guys are worried, like, I'm not sure if mine's good enough, let us know and we can go over that. Like all the sample ones I did were just, I don't even know what my phone is. It's old, look, it just has a small camera. Now they have the big, huge
I
ones,
think
right?
it's an 8 or something. Yeah.
So that works, right? Something that you can store, and the videos are only, usually they're 5 to 6 minutes that you film, and then the videographer cuts them down to 1 to 2 minutes kind of thing. So you're not needing a huge amount of storage space on your phone, but you do need to have a decent amount that you can store several few minute videos that you could then
Temporarily
to send to Nicholas Fern. So a decent phone, a tripod to do the filming. And then this is a wireless mic, and we've done them without the mics, and it just isn't as great. And so we've decided in order to make it as good as we can, we have this wireless mic, and then a laptop or some type of a device, a tablet, something that we can Zoom record the actual video or the interview to then send to the spinners. So if any of you have problems with that, like, oh, I don't know if I have a laptop or I don't have a tablet, let us know and we can help figure out an option for you for that. Even possibly borrowing one. Everything is saved in the cloud, so nothing would be stored on a computer. The Zoom is all saved on the cloud. The photos are all saved on the cloud when you digitize all the photos. So
Melody wants to know if a phone could not work for that. You'd have
to what?
If she could use a phone for that.
For the filming of Zoom?
Uh-huh.
Possibly.
Yeah.
If the audio is loud and clear, we haven't used a phone for it, but it might work. We should try that.
Yeah.
So try that on your free one and let's see. Who is asking that one?
Melody.
Okay, yeah. So we could try it. I don't know why it wouldn't, as long as it's the audio. That's my only concern, is that if the audio is loud enough. So
Heidi, also, because this is a pilot group, a group we invited, they don't have to pay. So if you were an advocate that paid to become an advocate, you would get these things, except the phone and computer. You would get the
Not the
two
phone and
mail things. She'll show you what you'd get. But you could borrow a tripod from a friend if you don't want to purchase one. I got mine at Walmart for $20. And then Amazon will give you the link to order the headset.
yeah, so we'll send you the link. This is about, I think, between $45 and $50, depending on what Amazon does with because it's always one price for the other. So, but the microphone, as far as a wireless mic, this is super affordable. I have a neighbor who's a professional videographer, and when I was like, can you help me find a good mic? He was like, oh, they're all hundreds of dollars. I'm like, well, that's not really what we're going for. But then I found this one. I've used this for my other job and it works really, really well. So does a nice professional job at a really affordable price. And it's really easy to use. And I have a video showing how to plug it in and all that. So those are the key items that you'll need. And that's pretty much it to get started. Okay. All right, Candy.
Okay, we just want you to take a second out from all this information. And we just want you to visualize being out on a ship in the night ocean and you can see a star full of just a sky full of stars. Okay. And I want you to think how you've all stepped on this voyage with us. You've taken the first step. You're here. And I want you to think about why you decided to do this. Why are you on this voyage? And what do you want to discover about yourself on this voyage? And as you look out at all the stars and the wonder, think about what kind of direction and guidance it will offer your life, and the blessing that it will be for your life and for the lives of your posterity as you work with us in this new exciting venture. But as I thought about this, why I stepped on this voyage with Heidi, I was not sure. I remember I've been talking to her about this for ages. She is the one passionate about seniors. It's like it's in her, you guys. She has got to do this, and she does stress out that people are dying before their stories are written. I know her, and she has never wavered on this. And so as I talk to her and we go through ideas, I have fun talking to her. She challenged me to give it a try. So I became like that sophomore and did it for free for Irene to try it. And I said to myself, well, I'll try this. And if it doesn't seriously resonate with me, I'm not doing it. Life is too important and too short to waste time on something you don't really want to do. And it was really life-changing. And so I know why I'm on this voyage. I want to be a light. I want to be an example for my children. I want to be able to have the power to bring in an income for my family, should I need to, and have the freedom to bring in as much or little as I want. Doing a couple a month, I could bring in some fun extra money. If I did 10 a month, which would be very full time, we've said how many hours that is, that would be an incredible income for my family. And I could get really good at that and really change lives for the people that I would interview and help create these storybooks for. Heidi's got a great system. I'm very fortunate to be working with her, and I've made a good friendship with her. She's a dear, dear friend. And so friendship and fun is another reason that I hope to discover, that I have discovered for myself. So I just wanted you to ponder those things and hear my thoughts on that. But we welcome you on this. We're glad you took the first step onto the ship. You are welcome to exit, of course, if this isn't a fit for you. But the best way to find out if it's a fit is to do that first, even free offer to see if you like it, like I did with Irene. So that's all I have to say about that.
Awesome. Thank you. And one other thought I just want to share with the stars. I don't know if you've ever been out at night on a boat in the middle of the ocean, but you look up at the stars, and back in the day before GPS, right, the sailors used the stars for direction and give them guidance of where to go. And the stars that we are interviewing, these seniors, their advice, their legacy is literally providing direction for their posterity as well as for us, because we get to hear the advice as well, right? And they've lived the path, they've done the hard, they know what's important and what's not important from experience. And so I like that analogy of the stars literally are guiding the next generation. We're helping to provide that, to give the next generation that direction and some guidance in this crazy world of where to go, and giving them a voice to listen to. So just a kind of a fun visual with the stars.
So
and
true.
The stars really do. When the sun goes down, they use the stars for direction. So, okay. So now what? So if you guys can grab a pen, hopefully you have a paper and a pen, or you can take notes on your phone. But the next step is, I want you guys to just think, we're just going to take 2 minutes. And I want you guys to
we're nearly done. We have like 3 minutes left. So, take 2 minutes and write down, why are you on this journey with us? And identify what's holding you back. Maybe you're like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening, or whatever's holding you back. Make a list of potential stars you could interview, if anybody's come to mind of who you think might benefit from this. And then identify your next step, whatever that might be. And then write down an action step that you're going to take to help you achieve whatever that next step is. So that 2 minutes.
Okay, about 30 more seconds. Okay. And you can continue this after we end the call too, but this was hopefully a kind of get your mind going of some things that you can do to take the next step. But this is just the beginning, you guys. And every one of these stars have a story. And thanks to you guys, they're remembered. Whether it was they served in the war, they thought they were stupid and was never going to amount to anything and ended up being successful. Their husband left them and they had to work around the clock to provide for their children. They all have a story, some harder than others, but they all matter, right? Some had life easy, some had life not so easy. And we show up for them. We make sure they feel seen, heard, and validated. That before they leave this earth, they know that their life mattered. And that's going to be passed on for posterity. So thank you guys. Sorry for all the tears. Like I seriously can't get through anything without crying. But I feel so strongly about this. And I'm just so grateful that you guys are willing to take this voyage with us and for all the good that we're going to do. We're going to have so much fun. I don't cry all the time. I can have fun, even though I do like to work a lot, but I'm learning to have more fun. And this is fun for me, like going and doing this and talking to the elderly. That is my fun. I love it. And I'm so grateful you guys are joining us.
We have so much we haven't shared, like visions of the future of retreats and really fun things and team. You know, we're a unique group. We're unlike others, and you guys need to be recognized for that. And so Heidi's right. We're very blessed to have you take a look at this opportunity. And Denise, you've been with us a long time. We sure appreciate you, and we appreciate the new ones that we're just meeting. Thank you, Heidi. This was really special, and we launched today. This is going down in the record book, September 20th, 22. And I'm sending out my letter to people that, will announce that I'm starting a new business with my best friend and some very special women. So thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you all. And if you haven't sent in your agreement, make sure you do that. And then we'll get you all the links for the training and the email and all of that. So if you have questions, call us, email us. We are here to help. And the training is still, it's not perfect. They'll be adding more and more, but it's ready to go. Enough to get you.
And Denise and I did it without any of that training.
Right.
We printed out something and tried to follow it, and it
so
worked.
Print this out and use this. So, okay.
And
Thanks, everybody. Are there any last questions? Are there any questions?
I see. Aw, it's a privilege to join you. Such an honor. Okay. Thank you, guys.
You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Looking forward to way more stars in the sky. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, guys.